What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back with our boys Jack and Dexter. And I do not remember where we left off, which is always fun. I do know that we just helped out Vin, and then we helped out Ashlyn as far as I can recall. But
decontamination complete.
I'm not sure where we're supposed to go next. Or is that where we were supposed to go? Or is that the start of our mission and I'm just...
Seal off the area.
No. Oh, wait. Mountains? Is the mountains a mission? Show Haven, show high scores. Do we have a dialogue one? Oh, missions. Missions. Talk to Vin. Find shard in Mountain Temple. Find gear in Mountain Temple. Find lens in Mountain Temple. But yes, we're going to the mountains. We are going to the mountains. Talked a lot about a very diverse platform with this game.
Opening outer shield.
I didn't come in with any native questions or anything like that, so we're just gonna play it by ear. Like I didn't come in with any questions that were already conceptualized in my head. I don't know. How do you feel about, I guess, Vin overall? Like as a character. I mean, is he kind of cliche as like the kind of scared scientist? Like I don't know if he's I personally I mean there's always that kind of character, especially in like older movies and older things. They kind of highlight the oh man, I'm dead. Like definitely dead. Yeah, they highlight on like characters, especially like intelligent individuals, being very like even keeled temper, but like terrified of everything. Like they don't have any cool. So I guess even keel shouldn't be the right terminology. They're just not. They don't have any cool points. Like they're not a Thrawn like we see in like more more common like science fiction. Although I will say Thrawn was originally made in the 90s and then redone in the last like 10 years, but most scientists are usually considered like feeble, which is probably the word I was actually looking for instead of even keel. And I feel like Vin kind of fits that role of like being feeble. He was so scared when we first met him. He, you know, what is this rhino? I don't even know how am I supposed to defeat this thing? Doesn't seem like it has. Am I supposed to just get it to charge in here? I feel like that's probably what it is, right? No. Okay. Well, I mean that sucks.
Hit him in his stomach.
Oh, thanks, Dexter. I would not have figured that out. I mean, I might have. Might have just took me a while. Oh, we're dead. We're dead again. We're 100% dead again. Yeah. But do you think having Vin as like the kind of feeble scientist fits the role for this game, or should he be more like a more of a well-tempered scientist? I myself know I've had situations in life, and I think I even described one in the last episode of one of my experiences at Halloween, where I've had to actually be more reactionary and not necessarily intentionally violent, but trying to like trying to stop violence in a way. So I don't see myself as a timid scientist. I have studied biology in the past, which is why I consider myself a scientist, particularly genetics. Some people might disagree that I'm a scientist just because I don't, you know, maybe I'm not currently practicing. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not a scientist, because I'm always trying to learn more about scientific fields. I read a lot about quantum computing, a lot about physics, particularly in the principles of space travel. I am fascinated in Alcubierre warp drive technology. We are not there on the technology to actually do any form of interstellar travel, but the fact that we are working on it is like amazing to me. I think it'll lead us into the, as Kaku has stated, the first phase of human civilization, which we have not hit. I do recommend going to watch Kaku videos on him explaining civilization tiers. They're fascinating. Actually, to be honest, all of his stuff is fascinating. I've read a few of his books. He's just an incredibly brilliant man. And as someone who has kind of returned to their faith after a long hiatus, I find his statement on faith to be incredibly brilliant. That, like, the more you learn about the universe, the more it only makes sense to have some form of intellectual creator. And he explains it through physics principles, which is fascinating. If I wasn't a geneticist, I probably would have went into some form of physics. I actually find the work incredibly interesting. It's just I find the math to be overwhelmingly painful to complete. And it's necessary. If you're going to be a physicist, it's necessary to be a mathematician. Like, and someone might be a physicist out there that will tell me I'm wrong, which would be fascinating to hear. But as far as my understanding, you have to be a good mathematician to be a renowned physicist, and that's the key here. Is like, I want to learn from renowned scientists, not from people who took 4 years only to get a degree, don't have any interest in pursuing further information on their own time. Like, that doesn't excite me at all.
I bet that's the prize. They won't miss that one tiny gear. Like candy from a baby.
Are we gonna get a? Yep, we're going. Yep, 100%. I was gonna say, are we gonna have an Indiana Jones moment?
No one will ever know we were here.
Yeah, definitely, Daxter. No one will ever know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I find science fascinating. I want to continue to learn. I think, one thing that recently has come out in the news, and I'm not sure how far, because I don't really watch modern news channels. I got it from a science website. It was either Science News or phys.org or something like that. I saw it on, but they recently were South Korean scientists have found a way to reverse the cellular integrity of cancer cells back to normal cells, for kind of lay terms. But the problem is like, not all cancers are the same, so it's not a cure-all. Like, and I hate to say it, but the mass media is going to give the impression that this is like a cure-all, and it's not. As far as I know, it's I think they do talk about what type of cancer, and for some reason colon is what comes up, and I could be wrong, just because a lot of family members have experienced colon cancer for me in recent history, so maybe it's just fresh on my mind. But I do remember that they do talk about a type of cancer in it, and it is going to be specified for that. Like, there is no no cure-all. We know for fact that cancers develop differently. They have different drivers, and they have different passengers for the types of cancer. So to assume that it'll be a cure-all is just it's not good, because people then blame scientists for thinking that there was a cure-all and there's no actual cure for cancer, and like that's problematic in and of itself, because like scientists would love to give a cure-all for cancer. We would love to hear about, you know, oh, we don't have to worry about cancer. There's something else that we can look at now as being the foremost necessity.
Smack the box, baby.
Smack it? Oh. Oh, well, I messed that up. Wonder if it unravels. Oh, yep, it does. Perfect. Nice. Oh, that one I messed up as well. Dang. But yeah, I think scientists in general, it's always nice to have a fulfilled problem, because that just allows us to think about more problems and try to solve new problems that, you know, we never thought we were going to get the opportunity to solve, because a lot of it is like we're dealing with the most complex problem that there is. And I did it again. All right, so maybe, no, there has to be a way to get it to pivot, right? And if you are a scientist and you disagree with me, I'd be convinced that maybe you're not in the right field. If you're not wanting to solve more problems, because like genuinely, like that's the whole reason I got into it. That's the reason why any of my former coworkers have gotten into it, is like helping and solving problems. Like we as human beings love the attention of trying to make the world easier for people, not harder. And I think that's keenly what a scientist's mind is trying to do, is how do we fix problems? Even if they're not problems currently, how do we fix problems? Because we have lots of things going on in the world that are problematic. How do we make things easier for people's lives? Because right now, there is a lot. Oh, so I'm basically convinced that these are what leads to the pieces, is the rhinos. Dude, come on. Get out of here with that. Alright, I didn't realize it was going to be that easy. That makes me feel a little silly. I didn't realize that while holding this gun, I just basically, like, slid. If I use X. Or circle.
Whoa, this puppy's got some vibration to it. Maybe it'll put a smile on your face.
But yeah, I mean, if you've read anything interesting in any kind of scientific topics, I would also love to hear that in the comments. Like I said, I like to expand what I know, and I know that I do not know everything. So even topics that I've read on, you might be able to enlighten further beyond what I even know. So always open to hearing about new stuff. And I welcome conversation in the comments. I do try to reply when I see comments. So you're active, I'm active. Can never be against a good conversation, because that is how we learn. it's also what intrigues me about learning other languages. I've tried to learn multiple languages in my life. Ones that are more directly associated with family, like Spanish and Italian, and then ones that are more diverse because of either people I've worked with or places I've wanted to travel. This is where we just went, I'm pretty sure. So I've taken on the attention of trying to learn multiple languages. I even tried to learn languages to help other friends / family learn a language. Like a really close friend of mine who I really kind of consider more like a brother than a friend had wanted to learn German when he started going back to school for programming. So because he really wanted to work for a German DAW or is that right? Digital audio workspace. Yeah. He wanted to work for a German company, so he thought the best way to do that would be to obviously like teach himself German, which I think is a brilliant idea. I mean, if you want to work for a company that obviously is based in another country, learning the language should help you, if anything, because it should show your dedication to actually like considering moving there, considering like really understanding the culture, and with that, you know, putting forth the effort and time. What is this gonna do now? It's gonna do anything? Oh, all right. So I think it really shows that your dedication to the culture, and I think that's like a big thing. Like I watched a TikTok, it might have been it was an Instagram reel. Watched an Instagram reel this morning about how American streamers, not directly just American streamers, but American tourists, or tourists in general, because it wasn't explicitly said that it was Americans, but it is believed to be Americans based on the attitude had by the individuals in the video. But they were... Oh, that's fun. They're rather rude. Like, they don't understand the culture in Japan, and they do things that are purely disrespectful in the culture. Dang it. And instead of taking the time to understand the culture, they're just going there either for clout or they're going there to like visit. But like, there are certain places you should take the time to genuinely learn the culture, especially in Asian cultures. Like, respect is like kind of integral to their culture, and being disrespectful to their temples, being disrespectful to nature, being disrespectful to people. Like, you wouldn't go up to a person maybe you would, and this would be just as wrong, but you wouldn't go up to a random person who's like wearing Dia de los Muertos makeup in Mexico during Dia de los Muertos and just like, let me try to get a picture of you. Like, that's wrong, and you should know that's wrong. You should know that's not okay to begin with. Like, just educate yourself and learn some dignity and respect. I feel like in today's society, we're all too often just content with just being like, okay, well, oh man, I have to do this again? That's a bummer. I deserve to die. But in game. But yeah, I feel like if you go somewhere, be respectful. Like, don't just assume what you do at home is okay, because the world is not filled up with Western culture. Is not like the predominant culture of the world. It is the predominant culture of the West, but it is not the predominant culture of the world. Like, it's I think someone in the comments had said, like, it's like going to going to Amish country and basically like taking pictures of them, which is like a big no-no. Like, anybody who's ever lived near Amish country knows that it's like not okay to take a picture of an Amish person without their consent. You should consider it the same exact thing if you go to an Asian culture. Like it's not one for one, but it's still the kind of like be respectful, like ask if you want to do something, ask. Don't just assume it's okay. Like it's not okay. Like in and of itself, it's not okay. I don't feel like I might not be the right person to give that PSA, only because like I'm not of the nationality, but I myself am fascinated with Japanese culture. I myself would like to go to Japan, and I would also not be like stigmatized by going to Japan at some point because there are other people ruining it for the Japanese. Like they're like, oh man, I don't want to see another white person because of all these idiots that are just kind of ruining tourists. And I'm sure that it's probably in different regions of the country too. It's probably not just, you know, I'm sure Tokyo is probably less worried about tourism than say Osaka or Okinawa or even Kaido or Kyoto. I don't know which one is the proper pronunciation. Or Hokkaido. Like, I'm sure that they have different cultural approaches to tourism, but overall, I mean, again, it is a culture of respect, so being disrespectful is not, it's not okay, and it makes us all look bad. So yeah, just generally, if you're, I would also recommend, and it's something I recommend regardless of whether you're planning on traveling there or not, but just in general, we can open up our minds, learn new things a lot more if we take into consideration learning other languages. Knowing English or knowing Spanish or knowing like a language that is like a majority of the population of the world is great, but you do find places where they don't know your language or they don't want to speak it. I think that was one thing that was crazy to me is like, I grew up with having, we in my school grew up with having, different nationalities of Europe coming, like German, French, Norwegian. And one thing that we kind of were given the insight to is that they all learn English in high school. But the problem that it's just like we all learn Spanish. Well, not all of us, but we all learn a language in high school. We are taught to learn French, Spanish, Chinese, or particularly Mandarin, Italian. Like we are opted into learning a language in high school. You have to consider it's the same for them. Do you remember everything you learned in French? More than likely not. Do you learn everything that you learned in German? More than likely not. Do you have some of that knowledge? Probably enough to get at least say hello and how are you? Because like I feel like those are generic statements you're taught a million times, but do you retain the intricate detail of like, where's the mall? How can I shop? Probably not. Also, if you were forced to in your school learn a language, what language did you learn? And did you learn it to completion? Can you speak it? Because that is completion in my mind. Can you have a fluid conversation that is not, you know, something that you have to train yourself how to say? And train, I mean like you memorize it.
That's some paper, huh? Something's cooking. Kind of smells.
It's
like
you.
burnt apple?
I guess another question is, if
I can't believe you actually did this thing. Odin says she will search the timelines for answers about these sacred relics. I will find you then.
if Jack or Dexter were to learn a language from our world, what language do you think they would learn and why? I don't know that I have an answer for you, but I will have an answer for you by the end of this episode. I'm still surprised we haven't seen Kira again yet. Like, we actually haven't seen Kira. There's been no reveal as of yet. They really are holding on to the reveal. Which is smart, but it's also kind of wild. In fact, I guess I haven't even said what languages I have tried to learn in my lifetime. I have actually tried to learn, I did say Italian, I did say Spanish. I have family that is from, like, I have a cousin that his father's from Spain, and then my entire mother's family is of Italian descent. So I decided to try to learn both those languages. I would love to visit the homeland someday. We are actually Sicilian Italian, so I don't know if, like, all Italians determine whether they're homeland, like their mainland Italian or Sicilian Italian or not, but I do know that our family is Sicilian. So I guess technically I would like to go to Sicily, but to be honest, I would also like to go to Italy. Like, I would like to see the countryside a little bit more. I don't like to go to super touristy places. I like to envelop myself in the culture of the native land when I am on vacation. I think going to very touristy spots feels a little gross. Because, I mean, when you're in a touristy spot, you're getting watered down culture in most cases, because they're trying to get business of people who are visiting. So with that, the culture is always going to be somewhat, at least slightly, watered down. I'm not going to say like it's like completely different cultures at any point, but you're not getting, you know, you will find more English speakers in tourist areas than you will in the farmland areas or in the countryside or, you know, in less traveled cities. But say you go to Rome, the chances of you ever having to try to speak Italian is probably nil. Like, you might say once or twice, I don't understand Italian, if you don't try to learn it when you go. But the chances of you ever being like, oh yeah, the entire time I was there, I was trying to figure out what these words in Italian were. Like, it's unlikely. I feel like you have to choose very specific locations to even have to do that, and more than likely, even if you choose those locations, they probably do know English, because they're like, oh well, most English speakers who come here don't want to try to figure out what we're saying to them, so for that I had to learn English. And I would assume it's kind of the same in Japan. As like, you go to Tokyo, you have a higher chance that they'll know English. If you go to, say, Hokkaido, the chances are only a few people know English, if any. I bring up Hokkaido because honestly, I've been in love with this series, and I've watched it 3 times now as anime, and actually have read a good bit of the actual the manga, because they have not decided whether it is going to continue as an anime, and I myself like need to know what happens. But I watched it. I'm just gonna call it Hokkaido Girls because I don't remember the whole name. It's a very long name. Hokkaido Girls are super adorable or something like that.
I can't help you with your eco bill.
We need you to switch on the access elevator in one of the palace's support towers.
Sheesh! That's part of the old B-zone power grid. It hasn't worked for years.
Well, if it's too hard for you, I understand. Power stuff can be tricky.
Tricky. I could route the B-zone conduit lines through the bypass grid, shunting past the eco rings to connect inductor tubes in series, then back through the outer wall insulator helix and across the resonant flux routers into the number 5 capacitor array. Assuming the circuit's GX75B can handle the surge, I could link the phase loop lines into the primary coils, and presto, you've got instant lift juice.
Ben, you're a genius.
Actually, Mar was the genius. People say he made most of this stuff long ago. The shield wall system, the eco-grid. Anyway, to get that elevator moving, you gotta find and turn on all the old B-zone power boxes located in the city. There are 5 of them.
That doesn't sound so tough.
No, except those power boxes are guarded by motion-sensing turbo cannons. But if you destroy the cannons and switch the boxes on, I can do the rest. Just don't tell the Baron I ever saw you.
Nothing so far.
All right, so we're coming to the close of the episode. In my opinion, I think Jak would probably learn. I don't know why. I just have the feeling that he would learn Spanish. And Daxter, I have a feeling would want to learn French. Because, at least when I was growing up, a lot of people said that French was the language of love. I since have learned that the true language, in my opinion, based on interactions with a lot of Latin people, the true language of love is actually Spanish, which is why I think Jak would learn Spanish and Dexter would learn French, because Dexter is a very childish flirt where Jak has in mind very kind of, even though he gets goo eyes, he seems very directed and targeted in his love for certain people. So that is my take. Let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure you subscribe for more Jak and Daxter. We will be hitting it until it ends, and then we're going to Jak